Coming up on Volusia Magazine, a local company aims to make Volusia the center of the eSports universe. Mariners are getting a safer Ponce de Leon inlet, and the county's bird hospital continues to rescue, rehab, and release. Those stories and more coming up next. Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. Video games have come a long way since the days of Pong. Today, games like Overwatch and League of Legends have spawned arena-packed tournaments as well as sports leagues. Joanne Magley has more on this booming business.
With more than 155 million Americans playing and 500 million watching, the digital games and interactive media industry is booming at high speed. The stats are incredible, especially if you are new or not yet familiar with gaming. 1 in 3 people on the planet, that's 2.5 billion people, play free-to-play games across PC and mobile platforms, generating $82 billion. 4 of 5 U.S. households own a device used to play video games. And the average game player is 35 years old. That's split closely among genders, with 56% male and 44% female. 2017 was the biggest year for digital games and interactive media and eSports. Esports are a form of competition using video games. Most commonly, eSports takes the form of organized, multiplayer video game competitions, particularly between professional players. In 2017, eSports generated $756 million in revenue, and Daytona Beach is poised to become known as the titan of the eSports industry. Heath Jones, CEO of Corrales Entertainment, saw the potential a few years ago.
After I left graduate school, I was a filmmaker, producing and writing movies, and I was working on another movie project through publishing a graphic novel. And while I was attempting to build a fan base for the horror comic that I'd produced, I came across eSports via a couple of conventions that I was selling at, and I quickly realized that this was an economic tsunami that was coming, and I was going to get on the surfboard and ride the wave.
Heath has been growing an eSports business for 3 years, borrowing various studio spaces in order to create eSports broadcasts. In 2018, he became a client at the Volusia County Business Incubator.
We have a broadcast channel, and we are creating gaming and game-related content. So we needed a space that was business-friendly, tech-friendly, geographically friendly, where we could build out and grow our esports communities in a place where we had access to all of the facilities that we needed.
Every Wednesday, 2050 Esports, a segment of Corrales Entertainment, broadcasts its signature event, Midweek Throwdown, live from its studio at the Incubator, located on the campus of Daytona Beach International Airport. And the broadcast is complete with play-by-play commentators.
Gal is doing nothing but punishing him every time. He needs to be a little bit more cautious.
He needs more confidence. Because if you think of it as a sporting event, which it actually is, which is why we call it eSports, there are tournaments, big money cash prize tournaments that happen all around the world, not just in America. And they need commentating. Like if you're watching a sport and you haven't seen it before, you want to know what's going on, you want to know the deep cuts to what your character or your team is doing. So if you think of it in that respect, it's not really that much different than a basketball game or something like that. It's just a different game that is being played in a different sport that you might not know about.
We have a general knowledge of the fighting game community, the fighting game scene, as well as the particular game we're playing, which was the Street Fighter. And we're basically trying to express that to people who might be watching it, whether it be the community who already knows about Street Fighter or people who are new to the scene that just want to like watch it.
During a Wednesday night online tournament, competitors include reigning champs and noobs like me playing for cash and prizes. Take that.
The midweek throwdown streams on a platform called Twitch, which has 2 to 3 million gamers on it every day. Daytona International Speedway is well aware of the opportunity in esports. 2050 Esports is the first esports company to be licensed by Daytona International Speedway to produce co-branded events. Titans at Daytona, a live gaming tournament held at Daytona 500 Club in October of 2018, was the first of a series of events planned by 2050 Esports under this license.
Gaming's here to stay. I'm 50 years old in 2 months, and I'm what I call a first-generation gamer. I had an Atari for Christmas in 1983. I was there when people were still playing Pong. With the advent of the 3D game with Tomb Raider in 1995, I call that the second generation. We're now into the third generation of gamers, where you've got virtual reality, augmented reality, and all kinds of technological innovation. So you've got grandparents can now play with games with grandchildren. It's not going anywhere.
Volusia.org is your online county government resource. View the county council agenda and meeting calendar, as well as review past meeting minutes and archived video and audio. Save time and bypass the lines by going online to register your car or boat, pay a bill, and much more. Plus, you can use the site to discover activities, workshops, and ways to become involved with your community. Volusia.org is your portal to everything Volusia County. Florida is the Sunshine State, but it provides the near-perfect ingredients and environment for mold to thrive. Volusia County Extension Agent Lisa Hamilton has helpful tips to reduce and remove mold growth in and around your home.
Welcome to Solutions for Your Life. I'm Lisa Hamilton, University of Florida IFAS Extension Agent in Volusia County. One of the pleasures of living in Florida is warm weather most of the year. But with the heat and the humidity comes mold and mildew. Today, I'm going to review some simple steps you can take to manage mold in and outside your home. What is mold and why does it keep coming back? And how can I get rid of it? Mold is a living organism that travels through the air by spores. Mold spores are everywhere in everything, and it's virtually impossible to get rid of mold spores, but you can reduce and manage mold growth in and around your home. Because mold is a living organism, it needs certain conditions to grow. These are dampness or moisture, low light, stagnant air, and organic matter for food. To control or manage mold, we need to keep homes clean, as dry as possible, and increase airflow and light. In the home, the most common places we see mold growing are bathrooms, kitchens, and laundry rooms. This is because these places tend to stay wet or damp and contain soap residue, which serves as a food source for the mold. Moisture is trapped in the air, damp towels, clothes, and rugs. We often keep these rooms closed, and there's not as much air circulation and light. To reduce mold growing in your home in these places, first, clean away the existing mold. We recommend using the least harsh or caustic cleaners in your home. Most mold or mildew can easily be cleaned away with a mixture of 50% distilled vinegar and 50% water. Another option is 1 cup of borax in a gallon of water. And if you have a more stubborn mold or mold stain, you could use a very dilute bleach mixture of 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. Or you can also use any of the mold cleaners available on the market, as long as you follow manufacturer's recommendations. Whatever you use, remember that the paper towels or the cleaning cloth now have mold spores. So you need to immediately remove the paper towels to a garbage can and close the bag, or put the cloths into the washing machine and run it. Next, to keep the mold from growing back, take steps to reduce the moisture and increase airflow and light in the room. For example, use a squeegee to remove water and soap residue from shower doors and walls, or Use the towel to wipe down the shower stall, tile, and tub. Then remove everything that's wet or damp from the room and hang these things to dry or wash and dry them immediately. You can increase airflow by running the exhaust fan or opening the door to the room to allow your air conditioning to remove moisture. These are basic tips for everyday mold control. If you're having a more serious mold problem in your home, visit the Florida Department of Health Mold and Moisture webpage. You can also contact the Florida Department of Health with your mold questions at phtoxicology@floridahealth.gov or call 850-245-4288. So now that we've talked about how to manage mold inside, let's go outside. In Florida, and especially during the rainy season, mold growth outdoors is rampant. You can't really control mold growth outside your home, but you should reduce and remove the mold in order to protect your home and reduce any potential health effects. The steps to control mold growth outside your home are the same as inside. Keep the area as clean and dry as possible, increase light and airflow. For small areas, such as outdoor furniture, you can clean or scrub mold away with the same cleaners used in the home. To remove larger areas of mold from buildings or concrete, you will likely need to use commercial cleaners and a power washer. So keep the air conditioner running, turn on the lights and fans, and keep your home clean and dry as possible to prevent mold growth. With Solutions for Your Life, I'm Lisa Hamilton.
The Volusia County Council meets on the second floor of the Thomas C. Kelly Administration Center, located at 123 West Indiana Avenue in DeLand. Public participation begins at 9:30 a.m. and the meeting agenda starts at 10 a.m. A live video stream is available at volusia.org/audio and agendas are posted at volusia.org/agenda. Here's a look at upcoming meeting dates.
Boaters who use the Ponce de Leon Inlet now have a deeper channel to navigate through, which improves safety. Reporter Kate Sark has more on the recent dredging project by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Folks who frequent the Ponce de Leon Inlet off the Atlantic Ocean know the importance of being able to navigate the channel. That's why, in the summer and fall of 2018, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers awarded a contract for maintenance dredging of the inlet and intracoastal waterway. The Maya Kalin cutter section dredge and her crew will spend several months pumping sand out of the channel and surrounding intracoastal waterways and relocating it near shore in the ocean.
Right behind us we have our dredge. It's named the Maya Kalin. It's about 200 feet long. It's an Ellicott cutter suction dredge. Right now they're currently dredging our third acceptance section area for this project. We're digging depth that's approximately 12 feet with a 2-foot over depth. Right now we have an operator that's running the dredge right now. You'll see him in the upper cab up there. And then we have a couple of deckhands on the deck that do daily day-to-day operations. We also have an engineer and a couple of boatmen on the deck. Basically what the boatmen are doing daily is moving anchors and shifting pipelines and different things of that nature. And the deckhands are making sure that things are kept tidy on the deck, and the engineer makes sure the whole rig keeps running.
The team on board works to execute the dredging project while maintaining a safe environment for marine life and boaters.
There's an environmental monitoring plans and environmental protection plans that are taken in consideration when we do this. Gopher tortoise, sea turtles, a bunch of different plans that we monitor and follow some stringent guidelines to make sure everything's safe. Benefit for the boaters and doesn't harm the wildlife.
This dredge can suck up between 3,000 and 4,000 cubic yards of sand every 12 hours.
Once the sand is collected, it is pumped through thousands of feet of placed pipeline and emerges on New Smyrna Beach. From there, the sand is strategically placed in a nearshore area located along the beach.
The material will be placed just offshore, and then nature will have the opportunity to remove any fine material. We want to remove the silty stuff. That's not so good for the environment to be on the beach. So nature will clean that material and then place it on the sand in a natural way versus us placing it right directly on the beach, and then nature will have to rearrange what's already there. So in this way, it's both cheaper and more environmentally friendly to place it and then let nature take its course and place the material where it would have it placed. It's far more resilient than to place it directly on the beach.
The benefit of this project is twofold. While the sand pumped from the waterways benefits both beachgoers and wildlife, the dredging process is also extremely beneficial to boaters.
Mother Nature has a funny way of bringing sand into the inlets and the intercoastals, and we want to make sure that we're able to keep our intercoastal and inlet waterways up so that boat traffic can traverse through safely.
And while spot dredging is done as needed to maintain safe navigation, a project of this nature hasn't been completed for almost 10 years.
A lot of groups have to come together to support these projects, and so this has been a long time in the coming, getting the permits, doing all the legwork to bring this finally, this project through to actual construction. Yes, it was a big effort, and but I think it's going to pay off in the end with both the cost savings as well as the environmental aspects of it. So proud to be a part of it.
Once the federally funded project is complete, the Maya Kalem will be off for another mission along the coast and will leave the Ponce de Leon Inlet and surrounding waterways as a safer navigation channel. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Kate Sark.
The Athens Theater is a historic theater here in DeLand. It was originally opened as a vaudeville theater and opened in January of 1922.
When Henry DeLand came in, he wanted this area to be known as the Athens of Florida and be a cultural hub. They actually named it the Athens Theater as a tip of the Stetson hat to Henry DeLand.
When the theater was a vaudeville theater house, we had people like Sally Strand and Mae West. There was Will Rogers performed here, and there are rumors that actually a very young Elvis before he became famous. We also originally showed silent movies here, and now it is a fully functional theater. We have fully staged productions, and it also, at one point before this, it was actually a dinner theater. So it's had many different lives since it was originally opened in 1922.
Added sugar can cause big health problems if you eat too much of it. Dr. Holly Smith has a few tips to help you reduce your intake of added sugars in this week's Community Health Matters.
Breakfast. You'll often hear that it is the most important meal of the day, but it also can be the most dangerous. That's because many breakfast items contain sugar. Too much of the sweet stuff can lead to an increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity.
Unfortunately, you got to be a sugar detective and really look at the label.
According to investigators with the American Heart Association, Americans are eating about 22 teaspoons of added sugar every day. That's more than 150 pounds of sugar every year. Yogurt, energy bars, protein bars, people buy them because they think they're healthy. The truth is, many are loaded with sugar. Even some whole grain cereals have added sugar. Be a good detective and analyze the nutrition label. If sugar is at or near the top of the ingredient list, that's clear-cut evidence that it's highly processed and sugar heavy. If you see high fructose corn syrup, honey, sugar cane, it's all sugar, and added sugar is what you want to avoid. Here's another clue for sugar detectives. If you look at the ingredient list and it says enriched flour, that does not mean rich with nutrients. In fact, it's just the opposite. So what do? Well, do some legwork and look for the word whole. Whole wheat flour, whole oats. If you don't see it, put that product back on the shelf and keep looking.
I think the biggest issue is planning ahead. Find out what you enjoy, get a list going, make sure that that ends up in your grocery cart. And, then at least on Sunday, you'll have a plan for the week and you'll have the groceries ready to go.
When you're in the store, sugar detectives really need to investigate those nutrition labels like Sergeant Joe Friday.
The story you're about to see is true.
Look for the facts, just the facts, ma'am.
So,
is it all good or all bad or a little of each?
So when we look at the pastries and the icing and the Pop-Tarts and the pancakes and the syrup, you know, we think about that in moderation because that's going to be just loaded with sugar. Yes, tons
30
of sugar.
grams.
30 grams.
It's almost,
so remember, 50 for a day.
Yeah.
You're already at 30. So
no
that
thanks.
Can be, you know, even like the chocolate spreads, be careful with adding extra sugar in the morning.
34% of your daily value.
Right.
So if I had 2 tablespoons of this,
you've got
that's
a third of your days.
Yeah. I don't think that's worth it.
Right. Now, if we dig at this label, what we find is what we're trying to avoid, which is sugar as the first ingredient, okay, and 0 fiber. We want to have no added sugar if possible, or just a little added sugar, and we want fiber.
So if I compare my label to yours, mine says whole grain oats. Sugar is number 3.
Right.
As
it only
ingredients
has
go.
1 gram of sugar. So this is a good choice.
A good choice versus 15 in that one.
Okay.
I keep hearing you say something, and it makes me think of when you have a budget and you only can spend this much money.
Yeah. And
sugar, your sugar formula kind of works like that.
Right. So you have that 50 grams for the day, but you know, if you use 25 in the morning for breakfast, you know, if you're used to having a dessert, that's going to get difficult at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Some of the ones that we want to pay attention to that aren't as obvious are like the yogurt. You know, we think of yogurt as a healthy food. It's got the probiotic. It's got
Greek.
A great source of protein.
Right.
And it does have that vitamin D that we need. So it is important. But any flavored yogurt is going to be loaded with sugar. So what I like to do is start with your no sugar yogurt, okay? And then you can just add a dollop of whatever flavor you like. If you like strawberry yogurt, vanilla yogurt, just put a spoonful in. Flavor it yourself. You can get the sugar at least cut in half that way.
Yeah, 29 grams.
Yeah.
Zero.
It can be
And do not fall for the pictures or words on the label. It's marketing. You may see fruit or honey or the word natural, and the product is really anything but healthy if you actually read the label. This includes many breakfast bars and protein bars.
Here's an example where it's really beneficial to look at the labels. So say you love both of these products, but which one am I going to buy? This product only has 5 grams of sugar, and that's what we're looking for, is 5 grams or less in a serving. And this one,
in the pretty packaging,
has twice as much. It's got 10. So if you enjoy both of them, you might want to pick the lower sugar one.
Okay.
Again, we're trying to cut our sugar in half, and you would do that by getting the lower sugar.
There's 2
cereal
servings
bar.
in this container.
Oh, well then it's got 20 grams of sugar.
Yeah, I'd much rather have 4 of those compared to 1 of these.
Yeah, because that would be 4 teaspoons of sugar, so that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You can also do something like muffin tin eggs on Sunday. You can freeze them. You can have them, you know, ready to go and pop in the microwave. Those are easy grab and goes.
Package them up and take them?
Yes, package them up and have them ready. You can cut up your fruit and have that ready. Apple and peanut butter is a great way to start the day. Also, you might want to try almond butter, which is delicious too if you want to try something different. You can also do the overnight oats. This I did last night, so I just filled this up with the quick oats, and then I topped it with milk. I put cinnamon and some walnuts in there, and when I'm ready, I can eat that, or I could pop it in the microwave. It's a nice grab and go.
It can be a little bit of a challenge to get used to reducing your sugar so that you're down to that 50 grams or less every day. If you're looking for more information on how to do that, there are 2 websites you can go to. One of them is the American Heart Association. The other one is Harvard Health. For the Florida Department of Health right here in Volusia County, I'm Dr. Holly Smith.
Each year, the Mary Keller Seabird Rehabilitation Sanctuary treats over 1,000 birds. Let's take an inside look at Volusia County's Bird Hospital as it rescues, rehabs, and releases its patients.
I'm Chris Wise. I'm the program manager of the Seabird Rehabilitation Center of the Marine Science Center. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do inside our clinic. So the mission of the Bird Center really was to offset the amount of injured wildlife that is encountered on the beaches in Volusia County. Obviously, Volusia is a large county, lots of coastline, and also lots of species living there and utilizing it, along with many different species of birds. So in order to accommodate all the injuries, the county created the Marine Science Center to do sea turtles and then birds that were also impacted by beach activities and beach driving. So we see about an average of 1,200 birds a year and many different species. We see from pelicans to great blue herons to eagles to mockingbirds and other songbirds and migratory birds. Usually the public is going to encounter an injured bird first. And then once they get them to us, our first issue would be to stabilize them and assess what's wrong and what we can do from there. And then each injury and the species of the bird, how it lives, how it hunts, does it migrate, all of that actually plays a factor into how well it can survive from its injury. Unfortunately, the most common injury that I see in this geographic location, entanglements with monofilament. And I don't believe it's either's fault. It's not the fisherman, nor is it the pelican. But we're so close to the jetty, a pelican can come flying in very close to the rocks, and he can't see the fishing line. So he'll literally fly right through it, and we've had to chase a pelican who's not only carrying the line, he's flying with the fishing pole behind him, and you're running down the beach trying to catch him. We do surgeries, we pin broken wings, although the hook and line do sometimes require surgery. Many times they ingest them, and then we have to go in and endoscope. Sometimes we can retrieve it with a little tiny hook on the end of the endoscope, but sometimes we can't. And then we would have to externally make an incision and remove the hooks.
When Hurricane Matthew hammered the area in 2016, Volusia County's Bird Hospital was not spared from the storm's devastating impact.
We are currently dealing with the lack of our flight cage, so that has created some differences in how we have to do things. This year's have been a little bit different in the way that we are having to send a lot of birds out for conditioning so that they learn flight someplace else. And that's been a little challenging for us. We're transferring birds all around the state of Florida to get them the muscular conditioning that they need so that they can be released. Part of what we do is we're also banding birds that are getting released, which is giving us basically feedback on our success rate and where these birds go. It also lets us know what techniques are not working inside the clinic and what type of wing injuries don't heal well.
And the best advice to protect the birds?
Don't feed them. The biggest thing we could do is not let them think that we equate to an easy handout, and then they won't necessarily be hounding us and nagging us for fish.
Ready to volunteer or make a financial gift? Learn more at the Friends of the Marine Science Center Facebook page. Plan your next adventure at the Volusia County Marine Science Center. Visit marinesciencecenter.com for exhibit hours and admission information.
Stay connected with the latest Volusia County news, events, and updates on our social media channels. Like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Catch up with previous stories on YouTube, or just head over to our website, volusia.org. That wraps up this edition of Volusia Magazine. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osmond, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.